Welcome to Monday Morning Quarterback, a weekly feature from Cannon Church in Snellville, Georgia. I'm Tim Emmett, the senior pastor at Cannon, and on Monday mornings we connect the message from Sunday, the game of football, and the week ahead. This is Season 3, Episode 3. In 1965, Bill Curry was a rookie center with the Green Bay Packers. The Packers by then had already become a perennial champion. They had won several championships. Their head coach, Vince Lombardi, was a living legend. Curry wanted to make the team, was worried that he would not make the team, in part because, obviously, they were really good. That roster was packed with outstanding players, but mostly because Bill Curry grew up in College Park, Georgia. He was a white son of a segregated South. The Packers had many great players who also were black, and Curry has said that he had never been in a huddle with a black player before.
Here I was from College Park, Georgia, had never been in a huddle with an African American. I wanted to be accepted, but I didn't know how. Trying to integrate into that great a team, all my life I had been taught, not by my parents, but by the culture in which I lived, that we were different and that we were better than other people.
In the climate of the time, 1965, the middle of the civil rights movement, there's tension, there's strife, there's violence in some cities. He really was worried that the black players, hearing his deep Southern drawl, would just try to hurt him and get him kicked off the team, send him packing. Late one night during training camp, he came out of his dorm, and in the darkness he heard a voice. Bill. It was Willie Davis, the captain of the defense, the teammate who was black, who was most intimidating to Bill Curry. He has said that Willie Davis shattered every racist stereotype he had ever been given. He was working on his master's degree at the University of Chicago. He was a looming presence, an authoritative presence on that roster, and it was Willie Davis who said Bill's name out of the darkness that night in training camp. Bill. Bill Curry said that he thought it was the voice of God. He sat down in the grass, and then Willie Davis said, "I would like to speak with you." Curry thought to himself, well, this is it. He's going to tell me to go home. But instead, Willie Davis said to him, "I've been watching you. I think you have a good chance of making this team. I think you can help us. And so I'm going to help you." When we're in practice and Ray Nitschke, the Packers all-pro linebacker, when Ray Nitschke is grabbing your face mask, when he's breaking your nose, when Coach Lombardi is screaming in your face, when there's blood everywhere, I want you to look at me. I'll get you through. Bill Curry has said that moment changed his life. He could never look at another human being in the same way again, where he expected hostility, felt like as a Southern white man in the middle of the civil rights movement, he deserved hostility. Instead, he was given and received grace. This Sunday at Cannon, we launched a new sermon series called Please Don't Be My Neighbor. It's a series about the second great commandment. The first, the greatest, as you may know, is to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, soul, mind, and strength. The second, according to Jesus, is this, to love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus, in Luke's gospel, and as we heard this Sunday, tells a parable about a man who is walking from Jerusalem to Jericho. That's a 2,000-foot descent over only 19 miles. It's a rocky path, a steep path, a perilous path, and it's one that was haunted by by gangs, really. And this man is attacked. He's stripped, he's beaten, he's robbed and left for dead. The man who eventually helps him is a Samaritan. That's an enemy of the Jews, who is on that road, who sees that man left half dead by the side of the road. Instead of walking by on the other side as a priest and a Levite, religious figures had done, this Samaritan, this enemy, sees the man, draws near. He tends to his wounds. He puts him on his animal. He takes him to an inn. He cares for him and provides for him. Where this unnamed, beaten, robbed man expected hostility from an enemy, instead he was given and received grace. Just like God loves us, without condition. Just like God gives grace and mercy and love to us, unexpected and undeserved, so the Samaritan loved this stranger who was an enemy, but whom he chose to love instead as a friend. What's the game plan for this week? Be Willie Davis. Sometime this week, when someone with whose paths you have crossed, someone expects, and maybe even in your mind deserves hostility from you, instead give them grace. Just speak a word of encouragement, or be patient, be kind, be understanding. Try to see things through their eyes. Where someone expects to receive hostility from you, instead give grace. Sometime this week, look for an opportunity to be Willie Davis. That's the game plan for this week. I hope you have a great week.